Yeah,
I'm
man.
happy for you. I think it's super cool that you
Thank you,
have
man.
your own spot, which
Thank you.
we'll talk about more at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah. How do you feel about it? Do you feel good?
I feel, man, it feels just to be in control of your own space, to have your own energy there, no one else's energy or issues being associated with you and your students and your business. It's the best feeling.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe how happy I am just to spend time there. You know, after class, my students hang out. You know, it's tough to get people to leave. Like, it's just such a good, positive spot to be
Yeah.
at. And yeah, it's different when you're, renting other people's spot.
Yeah.
It's different. It is different.
It depends on who you're renting from, I
Yes,
guess.
that makes a big difference.
Yes, but it sounds like you got a good spot over there,
Yeah.
and it looks cool.
Yeah, it does. We made it look cool.
We got
That was
our. Is
important.
it all red?
It's all red. The walls are all red. We're hoping local blood members gravitate towards us.
Yes, all the Naperville blood.
the Naperville Blood
members.
Chapter.
Yeah.
We apologize to the Naperville Crip Chapter who might find issue with the color choice, but we are not affiliated with any
Yes, only
gangs
red.
officially. Yes, there we go. Thank you for bringing that. Yes.
Red. And it's all red, right? Like the walls are all red. And you
Yep,
have, like,
the walls are red, the mats are black, so there's some cool contrast
cool.
there. Yeah, I can't
And
wait
you
for you
did
to
that. Yeah, I'm gonna go
come
for
check
sure.
it out, man.
You did that all with your students, you said?
Me and my students, man. I have one student named Michael who, man, he took the lead on everything. He's like a handyman. He has a small
gonna ask,
business.
yeah, that makes sense.
And he was like, without him, it would just be a mess. He really took the
It
reins.
seems like you got it done super fast. Like I was talking to you, and then like the next week it was already all painted. I saw on Instagram. I was
Yeah.
like, whoa, that was quick.
Every day after training at our old location, him and I would go there and just paint for like 3-4 hours. On the weekends, sometimes he would be there for like 10, 12 hours. Like,
What?
he's the man. Like, he
Yeah.
did so much. And he didn't ask for anything. I had to offer, stuff to
Yeah.
reimburse him because he's that good of a person.
kinda
Like, he just
guy.
wanted to help us build our academy. My students came and volunteered. I would buy them food and stuff, and it still wasn't even close to enough for how much
What'd you buy them? What kind of food?
Every day I ordered, man, especially me and Michael, we were Uber Eatsing like pros. Every night we'd
Yeah.
get something different. And for me, I don't usually eat out that much. I try to eat healthy, so this was a nice excuse for me to
try.
pig out a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, my students wanted to come. They were painting. They were installing flooring. They changed the lights. Like, you saw what it looked like. It looked like a classroom
looks
maybe
like
or something. Yeah, now it looks like a gym.
real gym. I don't know how
Yeah.
else to say it, but it looks like it's professional. It looks clean.
Thanks,
it looks
man. You worked hard.
like your sanctuary.
Yes, that's what we wanted. We wanted it to
So-
be unique and represent us. We didn't want it to be like cookie cutter and look like every other place. Like, you never walk in someplace and like the walls are red and there's cool, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. You don't see that often.
Yeah.
You see it more in the city and like cool neighborhoods, right? Where you have more
Cool
unique
neighborhoods.
businesses. Yes, in quotes,
The cool
definitely.
Chicago neighborhoods. Yeah.
But in Naperville, not so much, right? Usually they're following some sort of
Yeah.
formula or, so we wanted to be a little bit different because we're a different business, We
Yeah.
don't want to look like LA Fitness, right?
Why not?
Yeah, no knock on LA Fitness to anyone here.
LA
to anyone listening, yeah, all the
Fitness.
LA Fitness crowd watching today.
Are they even still around?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
I feel like they got bought out by something. I don't know.
You might be right. I think one of my students works out at LA Fitness. That's the only reason I
Oh,
know
yeah,
that
I think
they're
there's one.
in existence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's one in Naperville.
Naperville.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We just keep calling out stuff in Naperville. We love Naperville.
Yes, we do. Absolutely.
But anyways, welcome back to the podcast. I'm Dr. Gerry. Coach Ramy is here. And the theme for today that I wanted to talk about was mainly like overtraining, training too much, which I think is notorious for people who train combat sports,
Yeah.
right? So I wanted to ask you, like, up front, was there ever a time in your training where you just kept training too much and you knew you were, but you still kept doing it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just couldn't stop yourself, you know?
Yeah, great question. And let's see, was it in my second or the training leading up to my second or third pro fight? I remember I had a strength and conditioning coach who was just so overzealous, man. I remember the week of the fight, we were doing some super intense workouts to the point that I remember when I competed on a Saturday. I remember I was very sore when I competed, which is the worst thing. You want to be fresh, you want to
Oh,
be
yeah.
eager to go out there and perform. But I remember being like, my calves were sore. You know, when you're so sore when you just walk up the stairs, and that's how I felt going into a pro fight. And it's because this guy had us doing incline sprints, you know, a few days, but all this.
Yeah, what kind of stuff was he having you do? Now I'm curious. Like, give me some specifics.
So this was at the beginning where strength and conditioning became more prevalent in MMA. So we were doing, you know, all the, at the time, trendy exercises. Flipping tires, battle ropes, sprinting on an incline treadmill. Yep, all of that, cable, you know, punching with the cable, all the cool looking stuff that was trendy that you'd see in the behind the scenes UFC videos. This guy, I believe, came from a CrossFit background. Take from that what you will. And I think
we take nothing.
Nothing.
From
we
that.
have no issues with anyone. Yes. No. And I think he was in a weird spot because he didn't train in combat sports, and I think he felt like he had to prove that his side of things was just as tough and intense as the combat side of things. So it's like, oh, you guys think you're tough? Which, no, I don't. I never said that. Well, try this workout and let's see how tough you are. That was kind of, now looking back, I think that's what it was. So again, we've talked about people's insecurities in the past. I think he's projecting his insecurity. For some reason, he's insecure that he is not a combat sports athlete, and he wants to show combat sports athletes, listen, I am the end-all be-all. I am very tough. In fact, look at this brutal workout I'm going to put you through. Leading up to the fight, the workouts did not taper down so that we'd be fresh for the fight. It was still like, let's go, you can do it, never give up, never this, and I'm fighting sore.
John Cena,
Never give up. It's horrible, man. It's horrible, and it affected my performance. Thank goodness I was still able to find a way to win, but it was despite his methods, not because of them.
So you still won the fight?
I still won, and to his credit, aesthetically, like, I was very lean. I looked like I was in great shape, but I was still like tired after the first round. You know, it wasn't very functional. I looked like I was in much better shape than I was. Now looking back, the training should have been more functional. I didn't need to destroy my body during strength and conditioning. I was doing enough of that in sparring, right? Now I needed strength and conditioning that would strengthen my body, increase my mobility, my flexibility, my agility, my reflexes. But instead it was more just the hammer. Everything just beating us down.
Beating yourself to the ground.
Didn't know any better, man.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people equate a good workout. So I'm going to speak in more like generalities here. Like Ramy's going to talk about obviously more fight sports, combat training stuff. I think a lot of people just with exercise in general, they feel like they have to be super sweaty after a workout. They have to be super sore after a workout. Like all that constitutes a great workout. When in reality, like, you know, if you think about it, just sweating is just a cooling mechanism. It's just your body trying to cool off, like a sauna, right? You're in a sauna, you're sweating like crazy. It's not making you any stronger, more agile, more powerful, more, you know, explosive. So think about sweating that way. It's not a good indicator of a good workout. Same thing with soreness. Soreness is more so like your body responding to novelty, something new, a new movement, right? That's when people get more sore. When in reality, if you get more fit, you get less sore. Your body becomes more efficient and at repairing itself, right? So I think a lot of times people want to be like, well, it wasn't a good workout because I wasn't like sweating like crazy at the end, or I wasn't super sore the next day. When in reality, if you're more fit, you're going to be doing less of those things in a way. Also, if you're always chasing soreness, you're never really chasing mastery in certain movements. You keep changing your program, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And you're never actually mastering. Like when you're throwing jabs or something, like first learning boxing, you throw a zillion jabs. You don't go to something else right away. You have to master those things first.
Right.
So I think those two things are very important to talk about when talking about, was it a good workout? You know what I mean? Like, did I sweat a lot? Was I super sore? Don't worry about that so much. And we'll kind of get into that a little bit more as we go. But
where do you think this came from, by the way, in your opinion, this mentality?
Dude, I was going to ask you a similar question. 'Cause I think they go hand in hand, right? I was going to ask you, like, why is that a thing in fight training? Like, why do you have to be so, like, hardcore all the time? Same thing with just working out in general. Like, why do we have to be so hardcore? Like, I was going to ask you, do you think it's an ego thing?
Yeah.
And you could give me the same question. I think it is a lot of the times. You know what I mean? Like, so what do you think it is? And then I'll kind of give you my response, too.
I think as related to combat sports, I think it is an ego thing. Oftentimes I'm surprised. So for example, at PSC, none of the coaches would tell the class, hey, you guys are gonna be real sore tomorrow, get ready. It's oftentimes the members who will before taking their first class, be like, yeah, me, if I'm not sore and, dead after, I don't feel like I
Yes.
got a good work. Like, that's what they're telling us they want.
Right.
And I'm thinking, like, I don't know. That's not really my objective, is to
Right.
beat you down your first class. It's not my objective at all, in fact. My goal is to build you, not to
Yes.
destroy you, right? But they have this mentality, and sometimes they're disappointed. They will tell us, let's say a technical class, they learn techniques, they sparred. Yes, they're moving, their body gets hot, they sweat, of course,
Yeah,
but
of course, yeah.
they're like, oh no, I wanted more of, they wanted more intensity. In their mind, intensity means like damage to their body,
Yes.
soreness. I
Do
don't
you
know.
get that a lot with potential new
I
clients,
get that
students?
with mostly, unfortunately, comes from a lot of men who were athletes before, and maybe they
okay.
were trained incorrectly or had those types of coaches. And they bring that mentality into combat sports, not understanding that my job is to teach you the techniques of combat sports. That's my priority.
Right.
Not to make you do like a bunch of push-ups, and you can go anywhere for that. You're coming, hopefully, paying us a premium for our expertise, right?
Yes.
You want to learn how to throw a knee, how to pivot, how to do an arm lock. Anyone could tell you, hey, do 100 push-ups, run around your building 20 times. Like, I don't know, for me, I think that's a waste of their time and mine to just break their body down.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, have you had that recently with somebody? Like
I have with
What
newer
did you tell
people.
them? Like, what's your conversation look like with them when they say those things?
I tell them that doing combat sports is going to be challenging for your body, especially if you don't have a background in it. If you do jujitsu and somebody's on top of you, and you're trying to, push them off you, for example, it's going to be tiring. It's going to be physically challenging, but I don't train in that way that you might be expecting. So I tell them I want to manage their expectations. I don't want to lie. I don't want to delude them. Again, I'm not a salesperson. So I tell them, I'm like, hey, some of the classes will be challenging. You will get fit by practicing martial arts and combat sports, but that is not my goal, is for you, after your first class, for you to be on the mat, like unable to move, and I have to peel you up off, and that means it was a good training session. Sometimes a good training session is, oh, now I know how to throw that jab from this position. Now I
Right.
know how to set up this takedown. That, to me, is a good training session.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I try to tell, this isn't that, we're not a boot camp. We're not, like, this is a combat sports gym where your objective and your goal should be to learn combat sports.
Yeah, and again, we're trying to answer the question, like, where does that mentality even come from? It's, I guess maybe just working out in general is associated with like being hard and being hardcore all the time. I mean, fighting is the most hardcore thing you could do that I could think of when it comes to like animalistic instincts or physical, getting physical in some way.
Right.
So maybe it's from that.
I know in wrestling it's very prevalent. A lot of people come from a wrestling background. That's where you'll hear, I hear wrestling coaches to this day saying overtraining is a myth. There is no such thing. And they'll cite specific examples of people who, perform, like someone like Dan Gable. When you read the stories of his training, it's like he ripped his body to shreds, won a gold medal. So people think he won a gold medal because he ripped his body to shreds. It's like he won a gold medal despite tearing his body to pieces, right? Yeah, the mental toughness, of course, is a huge asset in wrestling, but I don't think you need to destroy your body to achieve that mental toughness.
So do you tell your students like to scale back a lot? You know what I mean? Like if let's say a group of them come up to you afterwards, they're like, hey, that wasn't a hard workout or something. Like, do you just tell them like, hey, today's objective was not to just kill you. You know what I mean? Like, how do you tell them that?
Yeah, it's tough. Luckily my students who have been with me for a while, they know what to expect. They know that some class, for example, if you do a lot of sparring, you're going to be pretty tired. Sparring is stressful, therefore it's tiring, right? Your heart rate's up, you're nervous, people are throwing strikes at you. It's tiring. But if you come to a technical kickboxing class or even an advanced kickboxing class, our goal is, again, not to tire you out.
Yeah.
If that happens through the process of you learning the techniques and you enjoy the workout, wonderful. But that's never our goal. I've never talked with our coaches and said, oh, today we're really going to take it to them. We want everybody to feel like dead at the end. We never say that. So I know some people are looking for that, and I guess we're not the right fit for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
That makes complete sense. I think I just thought of this right now, but like, working in physical therapy, people think physical therapy is just like me massaging them for an hour.
Right.
When that could not be further from the truth. physical therapy is called physical for a reason. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It's exercise prescription for your specific pain or injury, right? You can't get better just laying there doing nothing. Like, I mean, equate it to anything. Like, if you have back pain, for example.
Yeah.
I mean, if you do nothing, will it go away? Maybe, probably. Are you fortifying the area, your back, getting it stronger, building capacity so it won't happen again? No. If you just sit there and do nothing, nothing
Yeah.
happens. There's no adaptations in your body, right? So I think the flip side of that, like in PT with me, again, people think it's just like, oh, I'm gonna massage their back, it's gonna feel good, you
Okay.
know? That's all we do. When in reality, real physical therapy is, people start sweating. We do a lot of core exercises, a lot of hip mobility stuff, a lot of thoracic mobility stuff, whatever that person needs that I've assessed, whatever impairments that I find, that's how we actually do the treatment plan. And it's a lot of exercise and they're
Yeah.
sweating. And then at the end, they're like, hey, Gerry, why was that? That was like a workout. I was like, yeah, that's real physical therapy, you know?
Mm.
And if your physical therapist is not doing that with you, please leave because they
Mm.
suck.
Mm.
But yes, that's real PT.
Why do people have that misconception that physical therapy is somebody being massaged for like an hour, for example? Where does that?
Oh, I mean, maybe because it was that in the beginning, and
Okay.
research has shifted to active treatments.
Okay.
Active meaning the patient is actually moving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As
Mhm.
opposed to passive treatments, meaning the patient is just laying on the table and
I
you
see.
crack their backs or you massage them or you
Yeah.
dry needle them, which are fine. I mean,
Mhm.
there's nothing wrong with those things if it makes them feel better.
Yeah.
But if you spend the whole session doing that and the person is not moving and getting more functional and getting
Yeah.
stronger, building capacity, they're never going to learn the tools to stay pain-free their whole life.
I
You know what
see.
I mean?
Yes.
And I don't know why that's still around. There's plenty of PT clinics, other clinics that just have the person lay there and do a weird stretchy machine and,
Mm.
do some other bull crap that does nothing.
Mm.
Yet they still sell it as real physical therapy when
I
it's not.
see. I see. Would you say most people in your profession, that's how they approach the sessions, is through this method that you feel is not
Yeah, I
effective?
mean, yeah. I
Okay.
mean, I think it's definitely shifted, but I think it should still be more on the exercise prescription part of it.
Got it.
Depending on the person, mostly I would say more people need more movement than laying on a table,
Yeah.
getting their hands put on them by
Right.
somebody.
Right. Makes sense.
And again, like, coming from corporate healthcare, corporate physical therapy, um, a lot of it is I'm gonna start going on a rant here. I don't want to.
So I'm trying
We'll
to
come back to
nudge you to,
that. We'll come back to
yeah.
that at the end. But I wanted to ask you more
Yeah.
so about like um, the ego stuff,
Yeah.
in fighting. Do you think that's a big part of it? Like just like guys wanting to be like macho guys and like I have to train harder, or else it wasn't a good workout.
Yeah.
Is that like a root cause of this in a way? You know what I mean?
I think so. I think every combat sports gym will say, they'll advertise and say, we don't allow egos in here. And of course, they're all liars, right? The gyms that say we don't have ego here are the ones where you're going to find the most ego. So yeah, it's a big part of combat sports, unfortunately. And that's something where I was so tired of it that when I started PSC, I'm like, I don't want to be repeating the same toxic nonsense that I've been a part of, as a student, as an athlete, as a fighter for decades now. So I was like, okay, in my own little world, we're going to change this. And I noticed
Yeah.
when we go to competitions, our athletes, we're very lucky, they do very well. But it's funny because we don't walk around with the same kind of weird, like alpha male energy. And to me, that's exhausting. It's super performative. It comes from, as we've talked about in the past, from
Yeah.
extreme insecurity.
Right.
And it has nothing to do with a triangle choke or a butterfly sweep or a switch kick. Your ego and your weird, self-delusion
Right.
and your insecurities have nothing to do with performing techniques correctly and
Yeah.
making good decisions, which is what leads to a good fighter. So yeah, ego is a huge problem in combat sports, and it leads to things like overtraining, training through injuries, students being led by their coaches, and usually, of course, it's always the coach's fault, right? Everything's from the top down. The students might not know and say, hey, I want a good workout, I want to be sweating, I want to feel dead tomorrow. It's the coach that should say, hey,
Right.
that's actually not the good thing that you
Right.
think it is. My job is to train you to be a skilled
Yeah.
combat sports athlete. So
Yeah.
I think this is an issue from the top down, like most issues. The problem starts at the top. And when we push this narrative, even when you see and when you watch the behind the scenes stuff of like a UFC fighter, you're like, oh man, he's always 7 days a week and this. That's nonsense, man. I know these people. They do not train 7 days a week. They do not train 8 hours a day. They're overdoing it. They're faking it because the story is very exciting. We're
Yeah.
influenced from everything from Rocky movies to this, where it's like you always train nonstop. It's just not true, man. Your body can only, as you know better than anyone, your body can only handle so much, right? You have to be smart with that output.
Yep.
When you overdo it at a certain point, there's definitely diminishing returns. I'd rather somebody, if you're a skilled fighter, just my opinion, I'd rather you be slightly undertrained than slightly overtrained going into a competition. That's just me. And I could be wrong. Some people will be. But if you have the skill, you have the aerobic base, you have the experience, I'd rather you just go in there and be efficient, use technique, be smart, breathe, be tactical, than to be overtrained going in there with a weakened, depleted body,
Sore,
cutting too much weight. Like we see that. It doesn't help.
Yeah.
We see fighters in the tail end of their career drop like another weight class down, thinking this is going to be it for. And now they're getting knocked out because they're dehydrated and their brain's getting rattled. So it doesn't help anyone. It's negative. It's negative to have this mentality that we need to harm ourselves to become stronger.
This episode is brought to you by Thorne Supplements. I'm a proud partner of Thorne. You can use my link in the description for 10% off. Thorne products are backed by science and trusted by health professionals and athletes. Many Thorne products are NSF certified for sport, meaning what's on the label is actually in the bottle. So Thorne's great. They focus on high quality ingredients and clinical testing for purity and potency. Thorne offers personalized health solutions across nutrition, sleep, focus, energy, and recovery, which is perfect for my podcast. So Thorne Supplements, thanks for sponsoring. The link is in the description. 10% off. Check it out. Thank you again to Thorne. I think a very old saying, but I think it's still a good one, is the whole like stimulate, don't annihilate saying.
I haven't heard. That's good. It's new to me.
It's definitely, again, like exhaustion training, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
You could apply it to any sport. You know what I mean? Not just fighting. I work with people that, Olympic weightlifters, people training for the high rocks. Everybody loves the high rocks nowadays.
Well, I hear about that. I don't know what any of that stuff
this?
is. I've heard. I think I have a student who I think has done
is.
it too. Yeah, I don't know what it is though.
People getting injured left and right from the high rocks, from pickleball. But high rocks is just like a competition, a bunch of different lifts and stuff, and like a big fitness competition.
Got it.
But like, exhaustion training for those things, like needing or having to think you need to train super hard all the time, you're just annihilating yourself and you're just digging a recovery hole that you can't get out of. Or you can, but it takes a longer time than you think it does.
Right.
Your body needs to have stress put on it, right, in training. That's what training and exercise is stress.
Right.
But you need just enough to recover from efficiently, and not too much to where, like I said, you're digging yourself into a hole.
Yeah.
And then, again, you feel like crap, and then your training suffers, and you're like, well, why is this happening to me? Well, because your training is not well built. It's not well progressed. It's not planned out accordingly by a good coach, a good trainer. Yeah, I mean, I see it all the time still, because I mean, the people I work with now, they're more so like higher level athletes. They're active people. They want to compete in a high rocks. They want to do a weightlifting competition. They want to do jiu-jitsu competition. And, they have this misconception of I need to be training hard all the time.
Yeah.
And it's true in every sport, man, most sports. And again, it's hard to tell where that comes from in a way, but part of my job is telling them to, hey, like, that's not smart. And it's part of your job too, like you said.
Right.
And people don't like to hear that sometimes. And they're like, well, why not? Like, I need to be hardcore all the time. And then they get injured. They have these weird aches and pains. I'm like, well, that's why, because you're not progressing accordingly.
Yes.
You need to have recovery days. You need to have appropriate rest days and, like, deload weeks, whatever you want to call them.
Right.
And it still shocks me that people, higher level athletes or people that are very fit, don't know this.
Yeah.
And I have to kind of rewire their brain a lot when it is someone competing in a high rocks, or an avid marathon runner that I have who
Right.
tweaked their knee, or a jiu-jitsu guy who has back pain forever because he can't stop training super hard.
Yes.
And is that like, and again, I talk to people like this every time, and it's like
Yeah.
it doesn't click in them right away. They're like, well, what do you mean? They're like, their brain blows up. Like, do you see that too? Like, they can't compute that for whatever reason.
All the time, man. They think that this is just your destiny as a combat sports athlete is to destroy your body. And that's why you don't see a lot of 50, 60, 7-year-olds doing jujitsu.
Yeah.
You should be, in theory, you should be able to do jujitsu at any age, right? Or even boxing, kickboxing. You'll see outliers. And those are people who took care of their body.
Right.
I always tell people, in my opinion, it's not the age, it's the mileage, right? You could be 25 and have a real, 2 torn knees, a torn torn that, and you could be done for, or you could be 50 with no serious injuries or physical trauma, and you could keep training for another few decades. I know jiu-jitsu people who, by the time they're 45, they can't walk up the stairs, their fingers are all messed up, both knees are messed, and they think it's normal. I'm like, this is not normal. The way you trained was actually, people are going to make fun of me and say, like, I'm sorry. The way they trained was actually abusive, literally. Like, you were misled by an irresponsible instructor who usually they worship. So it's hard to tell them, hey, your instructor might be a well-intentioned good guy. I'm not saying they're not, but he was wrong. The way you trained was wrong.
Right.
Tearing your body up by the age of 30 or 35 is wrong. That means the training was incorrect. It means something was not being performed or not being done correctly at your academy. Doesn't mean your coach is an evil person, but it means he didn't know what he was doing in terms of training people for longevity. My job isn't to just let people train during their prime so that they compete a few times when they're 28. I want people to train when they're 50. I want people to train when they're 60.
Yeah.
It's depressing when you can't perform the sport you love. And I know people who can't do jiu-jitsu anymore. And it's depressing, man. They lose a part of themselves.
Right.
So it's like, why should we aim to destroy our body by the earliest age possible to have some war stories, to prove something? Most of the time, even if you're a jiu-jitsu world champion, most of the time you're paying to compete. You're getting some plastic medal that nobody cares about, and you're destroying your health and your physical well-being
Isn't
for
that
this.
funny how, that's exercise, right? Exercise is for longevity and feeling good, not beating yourself down.
Exactly.
So they're kind of doing the complete opposite than what they should be doing. And again, like I told you, it's hard to rewire somebody's brain when they've been, taught that, or that thinking is embedded in them for years. But the funny thing is, when it does click in them, and I kind of get my point across to them, they're like, oh, I do feel better.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean adding in some prehab work and mobility stuff and like scaling back my training a little bit and like getting better each week? Like, oh, that actually works. I'm like, yeah, magic, right?
Go figure, yeah.
And the funny thing is, like, those guys that you say, like, that do jujitsu and their back is all messed up and their shoulders all messed up, then they go to PT. They go to a crappy PT and they say, oh, it doesn't work. Well, because they saw a crappy physical therapist and they just massaged them the whole time. Or they did some weird stuff that does nothing.
Yeah.
They did some electrode stuff and red light therapy up their, in eyeballs or whatever.
Right.
When they should be, like I said, a lot of it is lifestyle changes, checking their programming, like I said, lifestyle habits, and active moving and, getting stronger for their respective sport. But that's a whole other topic again. We'll come back to that as I keep going on my PT rants here. But I think a good mindset shift for people is like, instead of like gauging how depleted you are after a workout, gauge how you perform during the workout. You know what I mean? Like, don't gauge the workout based on how exhausted you feel afterwards. Base it, how's your performance during the workout? Did you feel strong? Did you feel fit? Did you feel explosive, agile? Was your footwork good? Whatever.
Right.
As opposed to like gauging it off how depleted you feel after a workout. And again, it's crazy how people don't understand these things, and and again, you would think they're more well versed in exercise. At the same time, it's great. Like, I love helping them and kind of doing my best to rewire their brain, but it takes a while. But once you kind of get through to them, they're like, oh, I do feel better now. My body is not fighting me.
Right.
Because it shouldn't be. Like I said, like, exercise is supposed to make you feel better, give you more energy, not make you feel run down all the time.
I agree, man.
Yeah. Was there ever a time when you're training, like you plateaued? And how did you get out of that training, like feeling overtrained?
Yeah. I think, for me, it was, I didn't know at the time because I trained at a very reputable, renowned academy for a long time.
Oh, you want to call them out? I'm just kidding.
They already hate me enough. So
All right.
and I thought, I joined this academy maybe when I was around 20 years old. So,
Oh,
and there's
wow.
UFC fighters there and people I looked up to. And, so I thought that because they had successful pros, that they, of course, knew what they were doing. And to some extent, they did in terms
Yeah.
of teaching a skill set, they did. But I remember as fighters would get closer and closer to 30, they'd be done for. And the coaches would even, when I'd hear them talking about fighters and they didn't know that anyone could hear, like, oh yeah, that guy, he's 28, he's almost 30, like he's gonna be done.
Over the hill.
And I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. And I realized it was their training methods, the way that they trained. You are destined to be done for by age 30 if you have 10 years of, horrible training. This was a gym where people would be knocked out regularly during
Oh my
sparring.
God.
It was no big deal. Like sparring was at 100%, 2-3 times a week at 100%. Leaving this environment is the bet, whether it's, fitness gym, boot camp, whatever, leaving this type of environment is the number one way to extend your career and have longevity. You
Yeah.
have to leave people who believe that this is the right way to train. Even
Yeah.
if, they have a fighter who is this champion or this, remember, these people are doing well despite these training methods, not because of them. And it's hard when you're in the thick of things to
Oh yeah.
determine what's what, right?
Mhm.
Especially when you're young and
Young
you're,
and-
you don't know. You think this
Yeah.
is the way and I'm just not tough enough. And after a while, you realize, like, I'm not gaining anything except a bunch of lingering injuries and a bunch
So
of.
you were feeling that?
I was feeling, yeah, like, man, I can barely extend my arm.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
like in my, early to mid 20s,
Oh,
and
jeez.
now I still have elbow pain in both elbows from, submissions being cranked like crazy in jiu-jitsu or in MMA practice. And I remember the way people would spar there. It was ridiculous. And I feel like it's important to look at your training environment objectively so you can make the best decision for yourself.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, a lot of, especially in combat sports,
Yep.
your training environment becomes almost like a second family, right? So
Yeah.
you really feel like you're a part of this crew, and it's hard because you're not only losing your academy, but you're losing a social circle. And most gyms do operate, unfortunately, like cults, where when you leave them, you're persona non grata, right? Like, oh, you left, like,
Shunned
oh,
forever.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's very weird, but this is very common actually.
Still?
Oh yeah, there are coaches now that I know of that will not allow their students to train at other gyms. Allow. How do you
Jeez.
tell a grown adult where they can go and what they can do? Imagine having
How
that
do you even stop
control. You can't stop them,
Yeah.
but they're not allowed, right? So you're not going to physically stop them,
Like
but you'll be
kids or
kicked out.
something? Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. I would have people visit PSC and they'd be like, hey, please don't take any pictures or any video. Like, if my coach sees this,
Oh
I'm
my
going to.
God.
These are like grown men, these are lawyers and engineers and
Yeah, yeah.
accountants, like people with careers and families,
Yeah.
and they have to hide from their jiu-jitsu coach. It is
Wow.
this is way more prevalent. People don't talk about it. I don't know why, because I think most jiu-jitsu academies are like this to some extent. Most combat sports academies are like this to
Just
some
around
extent.
Naperville? Should we start? No,
Everywhere,
just
man.
call out everybody
Naperville and
Naperville.
everywhere else. And if people are watching and they train, they can at least think of, if they have training and they've trained at several gyms, I guarantee they could think of one gym where they're like, oh yeah, this definitely fits. It's common, man. Especially martial arts is weird because it comes with that such a power imbalance from instructor and student.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And that can create a really weird place and a really weird environment for all
Yeah.
types of abuse, right? So that's why it's prevalent. That's why if you pay attention to combat sports, you see more and more stories coming about instructors behaving inappropriately with members, instructors grooming people, instructors abusing people, harassing people. It is normal, and it shouldn't be. It's horrible, but this is the type of environment that combat sports and martial arts can create.
Wow.
Unfortunately, anytime where there's a severe power imbalance, you're going to find
Like that weird power
abuse.
dynamic. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So like when you were training at that gym,
Yeah.
like how did you get out of all those aches and pains that you were having? You just kind of stopped going there and you kind of just took a break from it? Or like, what do you think helped you the most get out of those nagging
Man.
injuries?
I didn't. While I was there, I didn't. I would what I would think is, okay, when I'm in there and I'm warmed up, I'll be okay. And yeah, it was true. I was able to get through the sessions once I was warmed up, and that injury, I can't feel it, and I have some adrenaline, my body's warm. But then after, I'm in the car feeling like I got ran over by a truck all over again. So while I was training there, some days I would skip sparring, for example, which got earned me the ridicule of my coach, right?
Really?
Who would say that I was afraid of sparring, or I didn't want to.
They told you that?
I mean,
Straight up?
I found out,
Oh
through
my God.
reputable sources, and I'm like, I've been here for years. I'm a pro fighter. I've sparred. I've gotten knocked down from body shots. I've gotten liver shots here. I can't breathe. I think I've proven that I'm tough. So if I don't want to get my brain rattled 3 times a week at 100% power, mind you, by people who are sometimes 30, 40, 50 pounds bigger
Why
than
not?
me. Yeah, right? Isn't that horrible on my end?
Yeah.
So yeah, if you didn't follow the protocol, you were seen as somebody who didn't buy into the program. And that is a threat to a program that is running effectively as a cult of sorts. It wasn't a cult, like we weren't doing weird, ceremonies and stuff, but I think cultish
That would've been
behavior,
weird.
it would be more
or
interestingly,
cool.
I have better stories to tell. But for me, cult behavior is when you just blindly follow whatever the leader is saying. And in my case, it was show up to sparring no matter what, show up to training no matter what, do this, the way we do things are right, don't train anywhere else, blah, blah, blah. To me, this is cultish behavior. It's not a normal academy behavior where I'm paying for a service and somebody's supposed to teach me something, right?
Yeah.
Imagine you go to learn to play the violin and the instructor's like, by the way, if you ever go to any other violin teacher, we will find you and we will, you'd be like, okay,
Do what?
yeah, but in martial arts, that's normal. This conversation will really happen, as laughable as it is right now with you and I, but I'm telling you, man, this is the norm, and that's why, just like you feel so strongly about your business and it being a response to the normal ways of physical therapy, I feel the same about PSC. PSC is only here because it's a response to the horrible ways that people are being trained.
Same with Art of PT. Like, man, like you just said, like, working with a client or a patient, like, it's a collaboration. It's not like I say do this, you do everything I say. Like, if someone tells me something, I take, inventory of it, and we work together as a team. It's not just like I'm the end all be all, like those cult like trainers. You know what I mean? It should be similar. Like, if your student comes up to you and like, hey, like, whatever, they say something to you, you're like, okay, you listen to them and you kind of adjust a little bit.
Absolutely.
You're not like, no, that's the wrong way of doing it. That's just weird. Like,
it is strange, man.
I don't get how. But again, it's a response. Like, your response to those bad cultish training gurus or whatever. My response to bad PT is like, it's a collaboration. It's more active on the patient's part. But again, it's something that we both feel strongly about, and that's why we're here talking about all this. And we're gonna keep doing it. So
absolutely. Man.
So I think a few good things to remember about knowing that you're training too hard, like a few signs that I came up with are like lingering soreness for more than 48 hours. Like, after 2 days, you should stop being so sore. If you're still sore for like a week, you're probably training too hard. Same with if your performance starts to drop week to week, that means you're doing too much. Also, if motivation starts to drop, also a sign you're doing too much in your training. Whatever training, again, for you, combat sports, high rocks training, CrossFit, Olympic weightlifting, runners. My runners are notorious for running a lot and not stopping. Like, why do I have knee pain? I keep running a zillion miles a day. I don't know what to do. But I'm there to help you, obviously. Small nagging aches and pains, like I said, that kind of stack up that you're kind of ignoring throughout the week or week to week. Like, well, this isn't going away. Well, you're doing too much, probably. That's why. Also, a big one I feel is, or I know is more so like, hopefully you warm up, right, before prior to training. You'd be surprised how many people don't warm up still for anything, any sport, any weightlifting activity. Runners, runners don't even, they just start running.
That's a good point.
Please warm up, and we'll talk about that at a different podcast. But like, if you're doing your warm up and you already feel like crap, you're probably doing too much before all that. You know what I mean? Your performance should be good during the warm-up to prep you for your sport. But if you're doing your warm-up and you already just feel like dump, well, that's a sign you've probably been doing too much the past few weeks. So I think those 5 signs are a good way, or a good barometer for people to kind of like think about it. Like, hey, am I doing too much? So great 5 things right there that I came
That's
up with.
helpful.
But again, like I think a big thing is like that culture of exercise and
Yeah.
fighting. Like we have to do more.
Yeah.
Um, so what do you think the best way is to, I guess, rewire someone to not think that? What's like give me some examples of like, I don't know, phrases you use to somebody or how you tell them to like not do that as much. Like say someone comes to you in one-on-one and you're like, you try to tell them like, hey, scale it back a bit. How does that conversation look?
Yeah, that's a great question. I remember Faraz Zahabi,
Yeah. Oh
you've
yeah.
heard,
Yeah.
GSP's trainer, amazing coach. He said something interesting years ago. He said, if you work out, let's say you want to do pull-ups and your maximum is 10 pull-ups. He's like, when you do that max, you're going to be sore for so long. And basically what he was saying is somebody who does 2 or 3 pull-ups a day over the course of a year will do far more pull-ups than the guy who does his
I
max and
love
then
that.
takes a week
Yep.
to recover. So I always try to instill in my students that it's consistency over intensity. A lot of people start and they come in and they're gung-ho, super intense. Coach, I want to fight. Usually anyone who comes in saying they want to compete, first of all, never ends up competing, right? It's usually the students who come in because they want a new
Really?
hobby or they want to
Okay.
learn something.
Yeah,
People who
yeah.
have more like humble goals at the beginning
Interesting.
actually turn out to be the most successful competitors.
Very interesting.
The people that come from day one, yeah, I want to be a fighter. It's it's something I've always wanted, but I can't even think of one example of somebody who came in saying they want to be a fighter who ended up competing.
Wow.
Yeah, because the idea of fighting is way cooler than the reality, right?
Interesting.
Getting your hand raised, yeah, it looks
I didn't think
cool,
about that.
but think of all the work that gets that
Yeah.
goes behind that, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, I try to always say consistency beats intensity. I'd rather you be consistent than intense. I'd rather you come 2 or 3 times a week for 5 years than to come 7 days a week for 3 months and then fizzle out. Your body's done. You hate the sport. You're not looking forward to it anymore. And I like what you said, that you should feel energized. You should feel good after a workout. You should be like buzzing almost after a good training session. You feel like, man, this feels great. I feel good.
Yeah.
You should feel confident.
Right.
You shouldn't feel depleted and done for and exhausted. Like, man, I can't even drive home. I remember nights
Yeah.
where I'd be sitting in the car, like too tired to even start my car and drive home. And like,
Right.
that's not good. Something went wrong
Right.
during that training session. So, yeah, I tried to change the way they view their workouts, their training sessions. Are you better today than you were 1 month ago? Are you getting better with every class? Are you improving? Would you of today defeat the you of 3 months ago or 6 months ago?
Right.
And if the answer is yes, we're on the right track.
Yes.
If you
Yes.
want to compete, yeah, there will be challenging training sessions where you're going to be fatigued and
Right.
you're going to be pushed because you need to in order to be a competitor. But we're not just going to break your body down every day because you have some weird idea of what a training session should look like.
Yeah.
They're coming to us, we are the experts.
Right.
We're not gonna, I don't really, this sounds weird, I don't care much about like feedback or their opinion or blah, blah, blah. Like, I know what I'm doing. You're coming here, I've been doing martial arts for 34 years. I will organize this
Yeah, we want what's
workout.
best for them.
That's
I'm not
exactly
telling
right.
you this to like. Why would I tell you this to make your training worse? It's not
Exactly.
my job to. That's just weird. Like, why would
Exactly.
I do that?
Exactly
I'm trying
right.
to help you as you are trying to help your students. I think a big kind of mindset shift too with people recently that I've had is like they always tell me like, well, I felt good that day, so I did more. Like my weightlifters, my runners, they're like, well, I felt great that even though it's not
Yeah.
in their plan that I've given them.
Yeah.
They're like, well, I felt great that day, so I maxed out on my squat or my overhead squat. And then the next day, they're like, well, I feel like crap again. I'm like, well, that wasn't in the plan. Just because you feel good doesn't mean you should do more. Stick
Right.
to the plan. Stick to being smart about your training. And again, just because you feel great doesn't mean you should be doing a zillion more squats or a zillion more miles on the run, a zillion more pull-ups, like you said,
Yeah.
a zillion more sparring sessions.
Right, right.
Save that for later, or save that
Yes.
for your competition. And again, that's a big mindset shift for people. And again, you can kind of see that in their heads when I tell
Yeah.
them that. They're like, wait, that's right, but I don't want to listen.
Yeah,
You know what I
yep,
mean?
yep.
But eventually they get it. And again, we want what's best for our clients.
Mm-hmm.
We want them to succeed in fighting and getting pain-free with physical therapy. So we're not telling you this to like not make you be hardcore. You can still be hardcore. You know what I mean?
Exactly. No,
Hardcore
exactly.
and smart.
Yes.
But yeah, man, I mean, again, like you mentioned in the beginning, like overtraining is very hard to get to. So I agree in that way. But the people I work with, they're such go-getters, and
Yeah.
they're already like very good athletes. So I have to kind of tell them to kind of chill a bit, add in some of this rehab stuff we're doing, exercises, prehab stuff, and then we'll come back to that stuff. And
Yeah.
again, in the beginning, it's tough. It's a tough conversation, but again, in the end, they'll feel better in the long run, and their longevity will it'll last.
That's so true.
Their bodies will last longer.
Yes.
They'll feel better. They'll be more energized. And again, that's what exercise and training, any type of training, is for. In reality, is to feel better, be more confident, body and mind, all that stuff. But yeah, man.
No, I like what you said, and I want to clarify something I said earlier.
Yeah,
I said
sure.
like, oh, like, for me, feedback isn't important. I shouldn't say feedback is important. What I should say is this: that people come to you or come to me because they are looking for expertise. Imagine if people
Right.
came
Yeah.
in to you and you were like, hey, well, what do you think we should do today? They'd be like,
Yeah.
why did I come here, right?
Yeah.
Some people come to me and they're like, hey, I want this, and I'm like, it's like, cool, I understand that, but we're going to do
Right.
things a certain way that I believe, based on my experience, is the best thing that I could provide for you.
Yes.
So it's not like, oh, I ignore feedback because I know it all, blah, blah, blah. But when somebody comes in, it's more likely that I have a little bit more experience than them, and it's my responsibility to use that experience to make sure they're safe, that they progress, that they learn new things. So that's why I remember sometimes when I'll have coaches that are new, they really will consider feedback too much. A student will come in, hey, coach, I want to do this today. And they'll be like, okay, you got it.
Yeah.
They want to,
They
and
just
it comes from a
concede,
good
yeah.
place. They want to make them happy. And I'll tell them, like, listen, some people, hey, coach, can we work a spinning
It's a
back
gentle
fist?
balance.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
But hey, coach, today I want to I want to do 20 rounds of sparring. No, you don't say, yeah, you got it, whatever you want. You are the expert. You are there to lead them, right? They don't know sometimes what they want. They think they want this, this, and that. They really don't. They might say
Yeah.
they want to spar 20 rounds. Have them spar 20 rounds. They're going to be going to the emergency room, right? So you can't just listen to what people want. You have
Right.
to be confident enough to know that you have their best interest in mind,
Yes.
right? So
And we do have the best intentions for people.
absolutely.
And we get that a lot. I mean, I get that a lot. People, they have this idea of, their rehab. They know how to do this. They know how to rehab their knee. Like, well, I saw on, or ChatGPT tell me this, or like this YouTube guy told me
Right.
this.
Yep.
I'm like, that's great. But at the same time, like, they didn't actually assess you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my job, is to assess you first and see if some of this stuff may or may not work.
Yeah.
At the same time, again, the full assessment is key here. That's why it's individualized. Like, that's how
Yes.
we are hands-on
Yep.
with our clients. You know what I
Exactly
mean?
right.
Is like, instead of just like, well, I have back pain, ChatGPT, tell me what to do.
Right.
And that's when, again, people have this rigid thinking of like, well, this is my pain, this is what I have to do. And again, I take that into account here and there, because they know their pain. They've had it if it's chronic pain, they've had it for a long time.
Yeah.
So I can't dismiss what they say. At the
Right.
same time, we have to input our expertise that we've been doing for years now.
Absolutely.
But it's fun. I
It
love
is.
helping people. It's definitely something that there's an art to, as a common theme with my stuff is art of everything, art of PT, art of wellness. But again, that's what comes with being individual with people, or having an individualized plan for them, like you do with your students.
Yes.
I do with their physical therapy plans. And again, I think people appreciate, or I hope they appreciate, that personal touch of us receiving their feedback and then giving our input. And then in the end, it's a gentle balance of we're working together to make them a better fighter or overcome their back pain.
Yeah,
Stuff
absolutely.
like that. So I think you have a big announcement here. I'm just gonna put you on the spot now. But yeah, you got a new space, a new spot in Naperville.
Yes.
That looks
Yes.
super cool.
Yes, thank you, man.
And it's
Thank
the
you so much.
official spot for PSC now, right?
Yes, we do. After 10 years of operating out of other people's spaces, we finally have our first storefront in Naperville. I don't know how they let us in, but they did. And so yeah, we're just super
nice
excited
spot.
about
I
that.
saw it too.
Yeah, exactly. It was almost
We were
Dr. Jerry's spot.
We were working together on it.
That's right. So yeah, we're so
We'll
excited,
still tag
man.
team it a little bit.
Exactly right.
Make some
Exactly
YouTube
right.
videos there or something.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be great.
Right?
I would love that actually. It would
Let's
look
do it.
cool for your content. I
I'm
think that'd be
down. Well,
awesome.
it's
I'd
for
love
both
that.
of our content, not just me.
Yeah. And to see,
You
I'm
too,
always
dude.
thinking,
You gotta,
yeah, you're right. I know I got to get better at that.
just
You're
post it on there. Yeah, whatever.
But yeah, we're so excited. We have our own Phoenix Sports Empire location now. It's at 32 Foxcroft, Suite 108. So anyone watching this, come on down, check us out, and I'd love for you to come visit. It's a really cool spot. We made it look unique. We have classes 7 days a week. We have youth classes in MMA, boxing, kickboxing, and jiu-jitsu. So it's been a ton of fun, and it's like a dream come true to have our own spot and to have our energy and our mentality, our approach to combat sports. You know me, I'm kind of stubborn how I want to operate the business, and now I get to fully operate the way that I think is best for our members. And so far, we're all so happy, man. So we're
What are
really,
your hours? Are you there all the time?
yeah,
all day, every day.
we do one-on-one lessons throughout the day, and then we usually have group classes in the evening during the week and in the afternoon during the weekend. So
You have the schedule on the.
we have the schedule on our
Yes.
website, yeah, phoenixsportsempire.com.
Great website.
Yes, please come check us out.
Yes.
And you could text us 331-481-6441. And we'll get back if you have any questions or any complaints or any insults you want to throw at us.
Any
Just text that number and we'll get back to you.
Yeah, man. We're easy to find in Naperville.
Yeah,
we're
we're easy to
everywhere. We
find.
have our websites. We have, I'll link it in the YouTube description.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Your website, all that, which I think I have been doing anyway.
Yeah,
Hopefully
I think you have. I think so.
They should be on there. If not,
Yeah.
Instagram, we collaborate on.
Yes,
I tag you and
yeah,
stuff all the
they'll
time.
find
Again,
us,
we're
yeah.
easy to find in Naperville.
Absolutely,
So,
yep.
Art of PT, Sports and Performance PT, that's my practice where I help active people, athletes around Naperville. We're in Naperville. We're deep
Yeah,
in it. So if you guys are in the area, surrounding suburbs too, so we're there to help.
Yeah.
If you want to learn some martial arts, some boxing, jiu-jitsu, hit up Ramy. If you have back pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, whatever pain, post-surgical pain, and you're an active person or you're an athlete, come check me out. Again, I'm easy to find as well. Like my website's on here. You can contact me through Instagram. I'm on Threads, which I keep telling you to go on. You never.
I got to use Threads more. You're right. Yeah.
We got to
Threads is
tag
pretty
team
cool.
some of these
You're right.
convos. Follow me on there. Instagram, like I said, at apt.G. My website is www.artofpt.com. What else do I have to plug? My newsletter, which is free every other Thursday. It's free, like I said, just sign up. It's in the description and on the YouTube channel and in this video. It's all things sports medicine, rehab, busting rehab myths, stuff like that. It's great. You'll love it. It's short. It's not super long. I think that's it, man. Anything else you want to plug? Should we plug something else?
I want to thank all my students and coaches who helped us get the new space ready, man. They were amazing. I am the least handy person on earth.
Me too.
I cannot even hang up a picture, right?
Me neither.
So without my students, we wouldn't have this. So I mentioned Michael, who was at the forefront of everything, but Michael, Lisa for helping cut mats so that they fit our space. Like this is something I have
so cool.
She's brilliant. Lisa, Michael, Sophie for helping with painting, Coach Brooks for helping with painting.
Shout out to them.
Aaron for helping with painting, Danny, Angel, I hope I'm not forgetting anyone, Pedro. Thank you for everybody who came down to help us get the new gym ready. Emmer, for Coach Enrique, Coach Jaime. Thank you guys for everything you do for PSC. I wouldn't be here without our members and our coaches. We're just so lucky, so fortunate. So thank you to everybody.
Cool.
Thank you to all of our members too, because you are the only reason we can have our own space. So thank you so much for helping me, make my dream a reality. I'm grateful. I really appreciate it.
It's awesome, isn't it? Isn't it fun building this stuff?
Yes. Oh, and Asha for helping me run the business, which I have no idea how to do. So thank goodness she's there. Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah,
Asha for helping me run the business.
Man.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Dude. I love that you have your own space. I'm super happy for you. And again, I'll be there whenever.
Yeah.
But we got to record some content there.
We'll
do something.
I'd love to.
Maybe we'll get Brian involved back there.
Oh, that'd be awesome, man. That'd be awesome.
But yeah, that's it. We'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.